sure you're all dying to know how I did with my 110 predictions, which I said to you I was not feeling too confident on. So without further ado, let us see if we have flopped or we have passed, shall we? James Tahuna versus Igor Pokrajic. CB Dollaway versus Goran Reljic. Chris Little versus Brian Foster. Stefan Bonner versus Krzysztof Sosninski. Elvis Sinasek versus Chris Hazeman. Krokop versus Ben Rothwell. Keith Jardine versus Ryan Bader. Joe Stevenson versus George Sotiropoulos. Wanderlei Silva versus Michael Bisping. And Cain Velasquez versus Nog. As you can see, probably not my finest hour, although I did manage to repeat the names of several people for my friend Chris, and I can't remember what numbers he has after his name, but there you are. I did mention them again for him because he did say that the English pronunciation was, he just wanted to hear me say it again, so I thought I'd say it again. Not my finest hour, but I do want to say a few things. Firstly, not too upset with the loss of Michael Bisping there. I have said before that he's not one of the people that I support. Pity that we weren't granted the sort of Henderson knockout that I thought Wanderlei Silva might have been able to do, but there we are. In terms of the main event, you know, Nog is somewhat of an MMA hero, I think. And I think tough was the thing that really showed his character to be as well developed as his fighting. And I don't know, you know, I have nothing against Cain Velasquez at all. My only thing is that, well, due to who he was, you know, what he's done for the sport, and because I don't believe that he's passed it at all, I was rather hoping that Nog would win, but there we are. You know, a lot of people accuse me of following my heart a little too much rather than my head when it comes to predicting mixed martial arts, and I want to demonstrate something here, and I want to say to you all first that I am absolutely not ashamed of following my heart over my head at times. I am not one of these sort of people, fickle fans, who will support fighters so long as they win, so long as their record is fantastic. I do care what sort of performance they give, I do care what skills they have and what record they have, but I care more that they are also good people, that their character lives up to their status as being sort of symbols that we can all sort of look up to and follow. And there are teams that I also support, and I may well predict underdogs to win, and I don't apologise for that either. One such here is the match between Chris Little and Brian Foster. Now, I believe he was finished, was Foster, and I can't remember if it was the first or the second, but he was finished with some sort of submission, and it looked quite nasty. He needed help getting out of the cage afterwards. You know, I make no apology for supporting Foster. He is in fact one of the few American martial artists that I've actually met and spoken to. And I still believe that, you know, on a good day, perhaps with a better game plan, his matchup with Chris Little would be a good one that he could win. And if you look at the other one, this was Joe Stevenson versus George Sotiropoulos. I usually back George. I like him as a person. I think he's fantastic. But I went with Joe Stevenson. Now, George actually won this one. I believe it was by decision. And had I gone with my my heart over my head on that one and saying, you know, I don't think the underdog, because I support him, because I believe in his abilities, you know, he will win, then I would have actually done a lot better on my picks. So let that be a lesson to me, and I thought it also demonstrates nicely, it gives me the opportunity to say, you know, I am one of the few people who, as well as doing prediction videos on here, actually dare to say how many I've got right and how many I've got wrong, and keep a running total, which sometimes might not be flattering. But I do that anyway, and I think it's quite important that, you know, I'm following, there are certain people, there are certain teams that I support, because I believe that the people are good-natured, they show good characters, they're good role models and good examples, and I don't mind backing them. I would rather be proved wrong and that my picks fail than always choose the person with fantastic and excellent skills, but who at the end of the day is a pretty pathetic role model, and who doesn't, you know, basically represent his country or represent himself very well. So I make no apologies, and I am absolutely not ashamed, and I hope to do better on my next set of predictions.